Check.
Meet Time Traveler.
Game Boy Advance.
I'm in Japan. I'm at WrestleMania. I'm still at the arcade. I can help. What? Oh, hell no. Get out of here. WarioWare Inc. for the Game Boy Advance. It's the early 2000s. The world is ready for a new era, and Nintendo was ready to show what they had in store for the next century of gaming, or at least the start of it. While Project Dolphin was still in its final phases, Nintendo released the Game Boy Advance on June 11th, 2001, giving portable users handheld capabilities that were on par with the Super Nintendo. During its first 2 years, the GBA showed promise with great titles as Pokemon and Sonic Advance called the system home. And in 2003, before some stellar Mario titles would grace the system, Nintendo would turn that M upside down and release this game seemingly out of nowhere. WarioWare Inc. Mega Micro Games. This game was released on May 26, 2003 to critical acclaim by everybody and everyone, which isn't surprising coming from the bad Mario, who by this point was enjoying success in his own Land series, but it's still pretty wild that he can go from his platforming roots to whatever the hell this is. But that's just how Wario rides in his motorcycle. He really is just like Mario in terms of changing career choices. But I digress, as Wario's in it for the money, and it's no different here. Being the Wario fan that I am, I absolutely admire this game, and it's not solely just because he's in it. I can't wait to show you guys what's in store as we take a better look at WarioWare Inc. You know what would be random? You just got to Diamond City, the world where this whole game takes place in, and you immediately get hired to test all the games this new startup gaming company is working on? Yeah, that's pretty much the crux of it. You're the new employee of WarioWare, and have the task of trying out all the new micro games Wario and his crew come up with. After watching a random game selling like crazy on local TV news, surprising that they would talk highly about games for a change, Wario gets the bright idea to make his own game. And with a new look and a new computer, Wario tries to get to work, but being Wario, he needs a little help and calls upon his new friends to help him create WarioWare Inc. With all that explanation out of the way, we can now officially start the game. We pick up right where we left off in the year 2000X in Diamond City. Wario's working out and issues a challenge to his new star employee. Why would you hire me if you didn't think I could, wah? But just like that, he just jumps high on his trampoline and lands right inside his boombox. What? And now we're officially playing WarioWare. For those who didn't catch it, this game is comprised of not regular games, not mini games, but micro games, which are ones that can last somewhere between 5 to 15 seconds. You don't have much time to think with these games, as you'll only see the task for a split something and have to complete said task before the bomb goes boom. When you complete a couple of micro games, the pace shall pick up, signified by a change of color, and the game shall go a bit faster as well. And when you get by several micro games, you'll go into a boss game where you just do the same thing, except now it means the difference between life and death. Defeated it, no problem. Now Wario is out from the boombox, and after giving a lackluster compliment, we can now move on to Jimmy. Whoever that is. As you saw, there's more than just Wario in this company, and there's even loading times to get to them. Nintendo was lying all along. Cartridges take just as long as CDs. Jimmy here is a smooth grooving dancer that not only has a cool cellular flip phone, but also likes his fair share of sports games. Who knew? I'm sure you can see by now that every character that you see from this point on will have a different theme when it comes to their games. In Jimmy's case, the sports games are good fun, and each will take a certain number of micro games in order to get to the boss. Once you defeat said boss, you'll move on to the next crop of Wario's friends.
I hope you keep up with me now, because I'm gonna go through everyone rather quickly. So we're gonna change everything to yellow, just like in the game, and here we go.
First off, we have Mona, who's trying to get to work at the gelateria, and she'll do anything to get there on time, including speeding on the highway, avoiding the local police, and having animal buddies take them out. Promoting a lot of good lessons here, Nintendo. Her micro games are more on the strange side, and that's her words, not mine. They are a little bit abnormal than the rest, as they don't share a common theme other than that, but it's still fun. Oops, I accidentally cut this guy's hair too much.
Ain't that a shame?
Next is Dribble and Spits, the cat and dog cab duo that would make a great TV misadventure show. I'm dead serious. Surprisingly enough, they picked me up, and after I say something cryptic, they apparently take me where I want to go. The trip is pretty solid. Got a kicking track on the radio and plenty of sci-fi-esque micro games to play. This is probably one of the more longer games in WarioWare, as it takes a little longer for the difficulty to kick up a notch. So your trip will be long but very enjoyable, and once we get to the destination, I learned something about myself I never learned before. I'm a merman. I'm a merman. Now my personal favorite would have to be 9Volt's Nintendo Retro Love. I swear if I ever have to identify with a video game character, this would be him. Although I could never handle a DJ's turntable, I can get down with his micro games. These games are a nostalgia trip for any Nintendo fan. They got something for everybody, from their golden NES days to their early Japanese toys, which I'm sure my brother Kevin will get a kick out of. The epic quest concludes when 9Volt finds out the new GBA SP is out and has to rush to the local retail store to go get him one. He's a kid after my own heart. This just in. The new Nintendo Switch and Switch Minis are coming soon. Mark your calendars for later this winter. I hope it's called that, otherwise I dated myself. After these games, you'll get to go through Jimmy again, only this time he has a new yellow wig and takes all the previous trio of micro games and combines them into an all-in-one dance party. Not much to really say after that. If you just remember a few of the micro games previously before this, I'm sure you'll do fine, as opposed to me, as I got into a wreck and shot into oblivion in a flash.
Ain't that a shame?
But if you think we're done there, then my friends, you're in for it, because we have 3 more files of friends of Wario wanting us to try their games. Time to go red and get right into it. We're speeding the Ware and Wario that Wario made. Time to meet the mad doctor himself, Dr. Krygor, who fancies himself a dancer as well, but tuckers himself out so quick, he forgets not to drink his scientific fluids that cause him indigestion. Now I'm sure you can imagine where his games are coming from. That's right, the shitter. In all seriousness, the games here are all interestingly fun. They're described as realistic, but I would say they're more of a continuation of Mona's Strange games. I mean, would you call this real? Or this whole ending scenario real? In any case, the next game shall bring a few brain cells back, as our alien buddy Orbulon shall demonstrate once he's rescued from having his ship wrecked by an asteroid. These microgames are unique as they give you a good amount of time to think and comprehend the task at hand. These games are built with more time in mind, so you'll have a fair amount of time to complete them in theory, just like this rescue could have been, but you know, Orbulon needs to know a little about what Earthlings look like. Now let's get back to the ground and back to our castle, apparently, where the spirit of the samurai is trying to take me down, I guess. The ninja forces Anna brings aren't enough. Now Cat is being called upon to save the day.
Katana! Get it?
These microgames are a call to nature in a ways they deal with mainly animals, which are something the two sisters like, which wouldn't be shown until later. Didn't even know they were sisters, huh? That's why you gotta read those little introductory lines. Hope you understand Japanese because you'll lose track of where you are if you don't. Not that it really matters. Nothing has made sense in the long run anyway. Tell me I'm wrong when you see this. Cat eventually rescues us with such strength and a puppy dog sword. All is restored to normality and I'm now an Asian.
You can't see my eyes, but I'm telling you that's a lie. Just like Jimmy Wang Yang.
You know what isn't a lie to the eyes? Jimmy's new red wig. It's a wonder how he can keep styling and profiling. It's like he can go another day without looking at himself and saying, wow. It's another remix of microgames, rinse and repeating all the IQ, reality, and nature games, and you'll find yourself at the final part, and lo and behold, Wario's back again.
Slowing it back down for the real boss of the Ware. Wario isn't gonna win this day. Bring it on, Garlic Man.
Anything goes by this point as Wario now finds himself in his computer, bringing out the hardest games that have his face on it. Don't take these games lightly, they actually kicked my ass the first time around, and still did a little bit as I screwed up a couple of times.
Ain't that a shame?
But after completing those games and a very lengthy boss, Wario seems confident enough in his game, brings the results to the rest of his crew, and puts it up for sale, where it eventually makes millions that Wario tries to keep for himself and not share it with his friends. But karma bites back and Wario loses all his fortunes in the sea as the sun goes down and the fun credits roll. And that's how you play. Now it took me a good while to explain this whole thing, but in actuality it can probably take you less than 2 hours to do. Not to say this isn't enjoyable in that time, the games and atmosphere are just very well done in such a way that you'll be having a blast from start to finish. I personally always have a good time with this game. Hell, I even bought it a second time complete in box. I love this so much. Seriously, I recommend you play this the instant you find it. Why wouldn't you want to play something as Wario as this? My thoughts exactly. I think I actually lost my train of thought, but I accepted that long ago. For a game that's so out there with its various amounts of microgames, it complements its own craziness with the music in a great way. The tunes are jamming, you know what I mean? You can really get into any track that comes on during play. Not only that, but I must say the arrangement is utter genius, especially when mixed with the array of sound effects. I don't usually comment on this, but the sound effects in this game are very good. They soothe my ears and can fit into any part of everyday life.
Maybe not for all of them. Thanks is needed for these guys.
The story may take you a few hours to complete, but after the credits are finished and you see the main hub load, you'll find that there is still a plethora of things to do. For starters, these piggies represent challenges that combine all the microgames and various difficulties and whatnot. For those who notice, if you read the full teaser at the start, you'll notice that it'll challenge you to get to a certain point in order to get something good. Certain other games challenge you like this as well with the hookup, and by doing so will unlock numerous things like extra games, including the one that started this whole thing, Pyoro. A few of these games you may recognize from Nintendo's past, but we also have 2-player games that are unlocked during regular play that I unfortunately can't play, as you know.
Hey Brian, can you come pick me up now?
Oh crap, I shot the wrong phone.
So you have more than one reason to go back and play the levels, but why not play through the levels again? There may be a micro game you missed and you can set a personal best. I consider myself a solid WarioWare player. I've racked up some good scores that could rival others. This is another reason why I got an extra copy of WarioWare. I didn't want to delete my dribble spit score for the review. See if you can match that. While on the subject, you can also have a bit of fun in the manual of all things, where there's plenty of goofy things like stickers. The box and manual are decked with them, which makes me wonder how much this would be worth if it wasn't.
Now I'm starting to think like the wow.
But that, viewers, is still not enough. We still have 2 menus to look at, including the grid where you can play all the microgames separately, categorized by their game type. I think if you get past a certain number of them, you'll unlock what I'm missing here, but that will take a good while. Might want to spend your time messing around with the epilogues, changing your name, or even clearing your data in the options to better occupy your time. Actually, you won't have time. You'll be too busy having fun with the many game types around, and perhaps raging at a few microgames. But I only have one thing to say about that.
You thought I was gonna do it. Well, you don't know me that well. I'm actually gonna say it's just a game, don't hate the player, winners don't do drugs. Wow!
Wario and his Ware has become more or less a staple Nintendo series, resulting in numerous sequels that mostly focused on showing off their system's capabilities. The latest release as of this video, WarioWare Gold, combined all of the microgames into one 3DS cartridge, which is a dream come true for any fan of the franchise. Just wish it was on the Switch. Wario got a few more games to himself before becoming mostly linked to the series only. But he continues to appear in several spin-off games, including Smash Bros, where you can play on several WarioWare-themed stages across the franchise. But before all of that, you could have actually played an early concept of the gameplay on, out of all things, the Nintendo 64 disk drive, where in Mario Artist Polygon Studio, a mode called Sound Bomber lets you play a very early rendition of the game type we all know and love now. You can see how closely some of them resemble what they would become under the Wario.
So, what is my rate to play?
You may have never thought that Wario could come up with a game like this, but the game itself will make you rethink everything you know, and in a good way. WarioWare is an awesome experience. It gets you to think quickly, but not without cause. It keeps you alert and ready for what comes next. The colorful new characters are a welcome addition, and the microgame concept delivers a fun time without any doubt. If you can play it now, I suggest to do so. It'll be the most fun you can have on a Game Boy Advance system. If not, well...
To conclude, I give this game a play rate of... play now.
But that's only my opinion. If you have your own thoughts, leave a comment. If you like what you see, leave a like. If you think others would enjoy this, share it around the web. And if you want to see more, subscribe. Anyway, this has been BrianTheBlue Game Reviews, WarioWare Inc. Mega Micro Games. for the GBA. Ryan here saying thanks for watching my game review. You can find me elsewhere like on Co-op.com where me and my friends play through various games for you to see. We do Let's Plays and weekly shows, having fun and getting frustrated in the process. Subscribe today to see what we play next in the coming weeks. Plus, I run the Starfighters Arcade channel. I work at a retro arcade in real life, and there we cover the arcade games with regulars as well as providing tips. You can find out more about the arcade in our commercials, so check us out when you have the time. But don't forget, I have plenty of other content on this channel with original series like quick views, console reviews, AC reviews, and current calamities. From software to hardware, I provide any and all gaming reviews. Check out Jacobians further to see what I have to offer. That's all the promotion from me. Click the I to go watch either the previous or upcoming episodes of Game Reviews.
All's well that ends well, right?